Last year, I did a video for New Year's, and I was so happy with it, and I actually wore it on New Year's, and I got a couple compliments, and it was really great. This year, I didn't have time to make plans fast enough before my job was like, hey, what are you doing on the 1st of January? So, I have two options. Come up with a look in case I decide to go out all night and party just before I come home, shower, and go to work, or stay home like an adult. So today we're going to do a New Year's makeup look. I have an idea. I've had... Should I get them? Let me get them. I've had these things for a few years now, and I haven't used them because they're really hard to use. They are Flakes of gold and silver. Last year, I came up with a look that was pretty neutral considering. It was from the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. If you haven't seen that, I'll link that. And it did as much as I loved it, and I've actually worn it again a couple times since then. It was very neutral. It was very matte, and I didn't do anything eccentric. But that was for a daytime event. And if I go out this year at night, I want to do something really, really cool. Did I even do an intro to this? Hang on a sec. I'm not even awake right now. So let's try that again. Hi, my name is Eleanna. I'm a makeup artist. How are you today? Everything that I just said. Imagine I'm saying it now. Hang on, I'll be back. Just give me a sec. I'm not good at planning looks, you see. What I'm good at is telling myself that I'm gonna wing it and then doing the exact same thing that I do all the time. Let's take some risks and have no idea where they'll take us. The first risk I'm gonna take is using the Gemini palette. I'm gonna go in with Bonnie. Bonnie, my trusty blackest black. And I'm doing this straight away because we're taking risks. Yeah, sure. Using a very small angled brush and tapping into Bonnie. If you don't have Bonnie, any black eyeshadow will do. Make a very long line from under your eye out to, this is where my eyebrow ends, and I've tapered the line out. So as the line gets closer to where I want it to end, I've lifted my brush and it did that thing. And then I'm gonna lightly bring that line. I say lightly, I mean with a light hand, under towards the middle of that lower part of the eye. And I'm gonna take, do I have my small pencil brush in this jar? No. This is a very, very small, it's sort of a blender brush, the same kit that I get all my eyeshadow blended Real Techniques brushes. This one came, and it's the smallest one in that little packet. And I'm going to attempt to blur it out, but not too much, just enough for it to be blurry, but not blended, if that makes sense. This might end up being a dramatic liner with some gold flakes. This might end up being a graphic eye with some gold flakes. This might have nothing to do with gold flakes. So again, from the bottom under eye part, from a little bit off center, because we don't want a harsh line in the center, a little bit off center, just straight across. We all know that I'm going to dramatically smoke this out later, so when I say blur it out, you might not want to blur it out too far, but again, use your own discretion. I probably will say, yeah, blur it a little bit, and then to hell with that, make it blurry as hell. I've also got my Urban Decay Original Naked palette here. I know these are now no longer made, so if you don't have it, it's probably going to be difficult to get. This palette is loved. Half-baked. It is so beautiful. But I don't know yet if I want to go in with any of these colors. Okay, with the color Luna from the Gemini palette. I'm going to take a flat brush, a smallish, medium-ish flat brush, and like swipey, dabby on the lid. I don't know if I like that. Let's work with it. And kind of dab it out. Instead of blending it, I didn't use a lot of color. I did that with a very light hand. Distributing the color not entirely neatly, but like, because it's not a bold color, it's just sort of like a base. You know what this color kind of reminds me of? You know when you boil an egg? the yolk of the egg. Yep. And again, just kind of tap it outward to distribute it as evenly as you can. It's not going to be, again, it's not going to be a harsh color. But try and concentrate it onto the ball of the eye and then dab it outward. And as I'm sort of swiping it outward, I am tapering it. So it's not a solid, strong movement. It's like a fluffy, feathery movement, if that makes any sense. I'm having a hard time enunciating. Just covering the eye, but not... You're not using enough product to require it to be blended. It's just enough to base. Alright, I think I'm getting an idea. In the Naked palette, Smog and Dark Horse, which are right next to Half Baked, is this in focus? Here, Smoked and Dark Horse, which aren't too wildly different. So let me take a look and see what else I have. Okay, I have the Semi-Sweet Chocolate palette by Too Faced as well. This palette has also been very loved. Look at all the colours that have hit pan. Except Pink Sugar. Pink Sugar fell out when I dropped it. With the same flat brush that I used with Luna, I'm going to tap into Caramel. Caramel is this one here. So it is more of a deeper gold. And I've used this with a dry brush. Like, I'm not going to wet it. Should I wet it? I mean, maybe it's more of a contrast as opposed to the color that we put underneath it. Okay, so with a wet brush then, if you want, just from the inner corner of the eye to roughly the middle, focusing it on the middle, because that's where we're going to blend the next color, and that's where a lot of the focus will be on anyway. Again, with the same kind of idea of just dabbing it outward with no particular shape, because we're going to go back in later and blend smoothly. This is just a distribution of color. Why did that sound like it was very difficult for me to say? This is just a distribution of color. Yeah. So I'm going to use Caramel Frosting and Truffled and maybe Hot Fudge. This one here is Frosting, Truffled, and Hot Fudge, remember. So we're going in with this one now, Frosting. And I'm gonna wet my brush again with Frosting, blend it through the center of the eye and take it to the outside of the ball of the eye. And again, just like blob it out, taper it out. I'm gonna layer this one though, because I like the way that it looks. The problem with me is that I also like really, really messy applications, looks that are very artsy and not blended. So a part of me just wants to leave all of this unblended, but general consensus is blending is fun. So we'll blend it in a sec. Center of the eye, dabbing it, swiping it where you feel like you need to distribute more product, and then tapering it out with dabbing. I'm going to use a brush that isn't exactly the cleanest, but I've used it to blend everything. And I'm going to lightly just sweep through that top brow bone. There's no product on it, like I haven't put any additional product on it. I'm just softening that edge. Not the actual eye itself, just the edges around it. With the same flat brush and some spray, I'm going to use Hot Fudge, this one, first, the darkest one. And I'm going to put that here. I'm going to touch it here in that corner. And this one's going to follow the line a little bit and come up. This is our dark, unless we go in with black later, but I don't have a shimmery black. So I'm using, okay, how do I explain this? I've applied the product on both sides of this flat brush and I've dusted it off so there's no fallout. I am, where the crease of my eye is, that's where I'm applying the brush, not on the surface like this, but on its side. So in between the crease of the eye, so I can get the color in there, but only apply that shape amount. So you don't have to do this if you don't have a semi-hooded eye. That's just how I do it because of that reason. And I'm going to take that brush again with no additional product on it, just to soften that edge and bring that out as well, tapering it, lifting it when you come to the end of that wing, because we are going to go in with a liner and we don't want to make this too bulky near the end. But here, when you're in that pit, what's it called, the outer eye, only on the dark color, only on Hot Fudge, I am buffing it out. But I'm buffing it out and upward, not so much in the look. I'm buffing it upward. I typically, if you haven't watched many of my other videos, I typically blend above the eyebrow bone so that you can see it when I open my eyes. but not everyone does that. You don't have to do that. It's not a rule or anything. It just makes it easier for people with hooded eyes, or semi-hooded eyes, I should say. People with hooded eyes, it's easier to have most of the look focused underneath and on the outside. But I can get away with a little bit of colour on or on top of my brow bone. Taking that flat applicator brush again and another spritz of the rose water spray or whatever spray you have, I'm going to go and use Truffled. Truffled is that lighter one, which is next to Hot Fudge, which we just used. Truffled is the one just next to it. And I'm going to apply this one in the third quarter of the eye. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to blot that out and buff it. Not buff it, but you can see what I'm doing. Ugh! You see why I don't like using water? It's alright, we'll fix it. It might work because I've already got the darker colours on this brush, but using that brush with the darker colours on it, going back into caramel, dusting that off, and applying by dabbing in the ball of the eye. Just between the thing that we just made, that line that we just made. And I've said this before, but the good thing with shimmers is that you can get away with, like, not the best blending. Because even if you blend it really well, the light's going to hit it and it's going to look wild anyway. Now, because of that, I have to use a much lighter gold, much lighter than caramel, on the inner corner. And I think I am going to go in with Half Baked from the Urban Decay palette. Because I know that it's just an abundance of color. Ah! I just dropped one corner of one palette into the shadow of another. I'm not going to wet this brush again. It's already got enough water in it. But Half Baked with a wet brush looks dope. Alright, let's wet the brush. I always say that with this particular shadow. In my mind, I'm always like, alright, I'm not going to wet the brush this time. And then I apply it and it's like, the hell you aren't. Alright, with a wet brush. Look at the gold. I'm going to take my pencil brush that I usually apply highlight with and go in with Half Baked again. And because I've made a mess up here and it's really dark, I'm just going to go over it. I touch the brow usually, especially when looks are more dramatic, because when I open my eyes, like, you can't see it otherwise. And I'm just going to match these so they look the same. And here's where I come in and talk about creative discretion. Because I am someone that likes, when I use glitters, I like that choppy look. I don't like it when glitters look perfect, because it reminds me of Barbie dolls, Bratz dolls, and it's something really, it looks very, I don't know how to explain it. It's a nice look, but when you go out in public, it looks very like you've got stickers on your face, or at least it looks like that on my face. Whereas if I take a more abstract approach with my eyes, I know that I've done a very artistic job, as opposed to a very calculated job. Does that make sense? So, like, when makeup, for me, when somebody's wearing makeup that looks a little off, I am drawn to that more than I'm drawn to perfect lines. I think that's why I don't like the perfect lines when people put tape under their eyes, which bugs me. I also don't like the way that looks most of the time, because it's like, it's a bit too cartoony for my taste. Like, for the art itself. There are some artists that the eyes look abstract and what's the word when things are not balanced? Imbalanced. And they feel more real in... How am I having a hard time explaining this? I'm an artist. Abstract, crafty. They look weird, and it's cool to me. It's a very personal opinion, but that's something that I'm drawn to. Like if I go out and I see somebody that has gems under their eyes, but the gems aren't in the same places. This eye has a little more on this side and different, like, balances. I like that when I look at makeup. I like imbalance, things that aren't always blended. Like, things like glitters and shimmers, you can get away with not blending, and it still looks cool and creative and artistic, and I love it. Should I do eyeliner? I'm going to do eyeliner now, and then worry about the bottom lash line in a second. Okay, I'm using the KVD Tattoo Liner in Trooper, because why would I use any other color? I should get into using other eyeliner colors. Not today. So this line I've taken out up to here. My eyeline I'm taking from my bottom lash line and out. And where my hood is here. So imagine a line, if you can see that, I don't know. And from this line, that's where the end of my hood is. I'm going to take that line out to meet the other one. And once they meet, pull it out further and taper it out further. Fill this in. I can't explain this as much as I can show you, but from the inner side, just meet it to the top there. It's a lot easier when you have something to lean on. I don't have something to lean on right now and I'm making mistakes. I'm going to do the other side as well off camera because I have to be in a very weird angle and I can't possibly do my bad side in front of the camera that's up there. Alright, that's the best that I'm going to attempt it because I can't. Let me just line the interior of my eyeballs with the product that we shall not name but will be written in the description because I struggle with naming it. Because we've made a big bad line, and by bad I mean bold. Taking my angled brush again, going back into Bonnie from Gemini, and making it bolder now on that bottom. Just on the outsides. I'm going to blend other things into it in a second. And with that, and our pencil brush that we usually blend the bottom lash line with, which is just a medium pencil brush. From the outside to the middle where I've placed this product, I'm going to blend it. Because again, I don't like the harsh lines. I don't mind that it looks blurry underneath. The eyeliner itself is a harsh line. It's a sharp line. I don't need other sharp lines, not with this look. And in that front, I'm going to add gold from the palette that I put somewhere. From the Urban Decay Naked again, taking Half Baked, and we've learned our mistake. I'm going to spray it with the Mario Badescu spray. Again, not really caring about how low you bring it. I bought a glitter glue ages ago by Too Faced. Just specifically to use these. I don't know if it's expired now. It's just, you can't really see it. It's a nude sort of product, but it is gluey and it is glittery. Did I even name this product? It's by Glitter Injections. They look like this. They have them in like copper and iron and all of these cool colors, gunmetal. Or at least they did when I bought these, which was a few years ago. And they're literally just flakes. Now, because they're just flakes, they tear apart so easily. They don't even care. Alright, I'm gonna use the same brush that I've been applying all of my shimmery shadows with because I've got gold on it anyway. And it's got like this little nozzle. I'm gonna put it on the brush. And before it dries, just kind of, family friendly channel. I'm using my finger, fuck it. I know I said family friendly channel, but there is a really high stress right now. Okay, with the tweezers and a lot of quick time, take a flake and apply. With another quick time, take another flake and apply. Get out of my face. Alright, so you want to work as quickly as possible is what I was trying to say with that thing in my mouth. Ugh, they're so flimsy and difficult. I have seen entire editorial looks that are just flake, and I have no idea how the artist had patience. I have no idea if they used flakes or just like liquid gold body paint. But another thing, you can't be touching this product with your fingers either because it will heat the product up. Get off. It'll heat the product up and destroy it. Like, it'll shatter in front of your fingers. Okay. At this point, I'm applying it to my finger, the glitter glue, and I'm putting it, yes, on my lid, but at this point, I'm gonna try and taper out the gold flakes. Yikes. It's really hard to do and make them look scattered because they end up just looking like organized chaos, and we don't like that. That's fun. Okay, I don't know how long that took for you. I don't even know how long that took for me. I've used half of the flakes on this. I could have done more, but like, I'm tired. So I will put a discretion here. This is fun. Wow, I put a lot on here and I can feel it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It looks fun and it feels fun when things actually work out. And listen, I love that extra life. So I don't mind, like if I had somewhere, I have nowhere to be tonight, but it's 6 o'clock in the evening here. And if I call a friend of mine and say, do you want to get a drink? We've got holidays here, so he'll probably be like, hell yeah. And I don't mind spending that much time to get ready because I love getting ready. Getting ready is half the fun of going out for me. It's more than half the fun for me. So if you're like me, in that getting ready is therapeutic and like you're in Zen mode and everything is great, it's gonna be fun for you too. But you don't need to see my face right now, sorry. I just need to not stab myself in the eye. I'm doing mascara with the Better Than Sex mascara on the lower lash line. Yeah, but if you're somebody who throws a quick look together, you're not gonna have fun with this one. The positive and negative with these flakes is that they're malleable. It's a positive and a negative thing. Because they're malleable, you can twist them and turn them and make them great. But also because they're malleable, they can do you so dirty by not listening, not cooperating, and you're not going to get them both even. Let me just take some of these off because this eye is having a hard time opening. I don't actually have lashes. How do I not have lashes? I have so many lashes. I have pretty long lashes anyway. It's not at all going to matter. I'm going to apply another coat of mascara, but let's just see. Second coat of mascara. What I might do is actually coat on the top as well. The lip look that I'm doing now, I've actually done before in my lip contouring video, so I'm going to link that in the top, in the description, or wherever I put it, and you're going to see exactly how I do it, but I'm just going to do it quickly here. Alright, I'm going to seal all of this now, and then I'm going to go in with my highlight, only because I'm getting a little oily. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Whoa, that feels so weird on my eyelids. And if you've watched my videos before, you know that I go in with powder again on top of this when it dries, and it makes the makeup stay all day and all night. And I have oily skin. The highlight that I do is not like the highlight that's done usually mainstream. Because I'm oily, I am going to get highlighty later on anyway. But in terms of contouring and highlighting and shape design, I'm going to get my tools. Where are they? Here. I'm going to use the Natural Nudes, Born This Way, the Natural Nudes palette. And I'm going to use the Swan, the, what's it called, matte highlight. Just down my nose, on my cupid's bow. Underneath, I'm taking the same brush. Underneath the eye, I'm going in with Half Baked again, now that I've done my highlight. And it's going underneath the eye and just connecting it to where the flakes are on the inner eye. And as far as the brow highlight goes, I'm just going to tap lightly into Half Baked and just dust. So it's in the right light, there's a gleam. And then just taking my powdered brush, I'm going in with the MERCIER powder double, I don't know what it's called, but it's going to be linked below. And I'm going to go back into my T-zone to really cement in all of that makeup. Because, I say all of that makeup, I don't actually apply thick layers of makeup, it looks like I do because I'm oily. I'm a lot less oily though than when I started this channel, so stay tuned for my video on my skincare routine and what it's done to my skin. I'm not going to attempt to curl my hair because I can't, so we're just going to leave it as it is, but this is the final look. I love this for New Year's because it's bold, it's different, it's when a makeup look takes me a decent amount of time, I feel like I've earned it. So yes, for New Year's, it's fun enough and different enough and wild enough that everyone's gonna have something weird anyway. It is tedious, but I'm very happy that I did it. I'm very happy that I finally played with these one look and it's half done. But as far as this goes, I had so much fun making this. It's like doing character makeup again. I haven't done character makeup for an age, but that's it from me today. I hope this video does not take too long. If it's a 2 hour long, it took me 2 hours to get to this point. I hope that you enjoyed this look. I definitely did. And I hope I could teach you something about using things a bit out of the box or blending or doing looks that are a little out of the box. Because I love those kind of looks. And if you like them, that's really great because I've got ideas for a lot of looks like this coming up. I will see you in the new year. Have a happy and safe New Year's and enjoy the rest of the year. If you like this video, please leave it a like. And if you want to see more of stuff like this and what's to come, consider subscribing. Bye.